Hello and welcome to the Blighty Day Fiance Eurovision Song Contest 2023 Grand Final Recap. We are very excited to not be doing this the night of because I don't have the attention span to sit through the voting part. So,
and little Alfie's joining us, and it's well past it. He's only 4, like Prince Louis. Is Louis 4?
Yeah, I think so.
So,
I'm crazy.
what if we just... he's not 4, but we're not telling you any personal details, so you'll just have to guess. What have we just seen? We've just seen the opening, haven't we?
Yes, I'm going to explain to the uninitiated what Eurovision Song Contest is.
Oh, right.
So for those of you who haven't watched, have no interest in watching, and are just that big of fans of ours, we're very grateful to you for listening. So the Eurovision Song Contest is an internationally televised songwriting competition organized by the European Broadcasting Union and featuring participants chosen by EBU member broadcasters representing their countries from across Europe and beyond. Each participating broadcaster has until mid-March to choose a song and an artist to perform it. The song and artist can be selected through a televised national selection show or shows, an internal process, or via any other means they decide. Participants then compete at the Eurovision Song Contest, traditionally held in May. The contest format comprises 3 live shows: the first semi-final,
Not covering that.
the second semi-final,
Not covering that.
and the grand final.
Covering that.
Participating broadcasters work hard to prepare acts that will qualify from the show's semifinals, hoping for a ticket to the Saturday night grand final, where they will join the so-called Big Five broadcasters and host broadcaster, usually the broadcaster of the nation that won the previous year. The Big Five are the participating broadcasters from France,
Yep.
Germany, Italy, Spain, and the UK.
We're in the final every year, even if we're shit.
The group of countries who, via their broadcasters, make the biggest financial contribution towards the organization of the contest. There is a comprehensive set of rules concerning participation that has evolved. Stop mocking me. They don't know. They haven't seen.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm not mocking you.
There is a comprehensive set of rules concerning participation that has evolved over the decades, but the main ones relating to competing songs and artists are: songs must be original and no more than 3 minutes in length, lead vocals must be performed live, and no more than 6 performers can take to the stage during any one performance.
Oh, I didn't know that last one.
Yes. Now, I will talk about the points and the voting at a later time in this broadcast, because that's a lot of information to consume already.
Yeah, it certainly is. The interesting thing I've always thought about Eurovision, it is a contest of the song, not the performance per se, right? It is about, like, the songwriter has to come from the country in question.
That's right.
Doesn't mean that the performer has to be of that nation. I give you, like, Celine Dion as an example. She was in Eurovision, wasn't she?
She was. Yes,
Yeah.
she was.
Yep. But not... What country did she represent? France? Belgium?
That's a great question. I love it when you do this because...
No, I'm just thinking aloud. I don't expect an answer.
Hey, Siri. What country did Celine Dion represent in Eurovision? Switzerland.
Switzerland, of course. But she's not Swiss. And the last time the UK won it with Katrina and the Waves, she's American, isn't she? Katrina from Katrina and the Waves. Again, don't expect an answer. I think she's got an accent of some kind. Doesn't matter. So it's a contest about the song.
Yes, that's right. So you can bring in a pinch hitter or a ringer if
Yeah.
you don't have anyone good enough to sing it.
And occasionally that can happen, like that famous people get put in.
Like Engelbert Humperdinck did for the UK entry several years ago,
Yeah, that's right.
which was an odd choice.
Well, yeah, but I think, didn't he start off in Eurovision? And he was like a Eurovision kind of guy. Anyway, this is all stuff and nonsense. And we've seen the opening. Michelle, tell us about the opening. Who did we just have on our tellies?
We had Kalush Orchestra. Ukrainian hip-hop band that combines ethnic motifs with modern sounds using different folk instruments. They were the winner last year with, I think the name of the song is Stefania. So
it's nothing to do with selling your farts in jars, though.
No, it isn't.
No.
We also had some surprise cameos in that opening, two of whom I recognized. Well, no, three. So we had, what's his name? Sam Johnson?
Ryder, I want to say.
Sam Ryder, sorry. Sam Ryder, who was the UK...
Dr. Johnson, the famous, yeah.
Yeah, Samuel Johnson.
Yeah.
He was there playing guitar on the... I've never been to Liverpool, so I don't know where any of these places are.
You know what? I don't think it was Liverpool. And I think they piggybacked the filming of this on the back of the coronation last week, is my guess. I think it might have been Windsor Castle. If I'm wrong, I'm a ding-dong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales, made a cameo.
Yep.
Very beautiful at her grand piano out there in Windsor Castle. Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, creepy plastic goblin in chief, of which I believe is his formal title.
Yes,
here in the UK.
Yeah, it's Lord Creepy Goblin Troll in chief. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And some other people we didn't recognize. I'm sure the Ballet Kids were something, and I'm sure that the rapper Miss Banks, was it? Not familiar. Fine. But I think that was a solidarity move, right?
Yeah.
Because we being the UK, are hosting Eurovision, even though Ukraine won it last year, because they're a little bit busy over there and they can't put on a party.
Yes, I thought it was particularly moving that they filmed the beginning in the subway station or the underground station where they had to hold the trials for the song contest in Ukraine, because obviously it's not safe to do so overground. So that gave me some pause for thought there.
Oh, right. So that wasn't in the UK. They did that in Ukraine.
No, that part was in Ukraine. Yes.
Okay, because I was thinking, cool, if they painted a train blue and yellow, that is quite punchy, but it's one of theirs.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
That's right.
So quite a good opening. Let's see how this nonsense goes. So we've fast forwarded past all the usual introductions, which take hours. In this case, we had a whole bunch of flag, wavy people, old performances. Don't care, not interested, don't give a damn about any of that stuff, do we? No one does, right?
Nah.
It's poo-poo time, right? It's when you go for a poo-poo, because you just want to get on with the songs. We've had the host come in. We've got Graham Norton. We have Alicia Dixon, who no one outside of this country will have heard of. Hannah Waddington, who people will have heard of because it's Ted Lasso, and a Ukrainian lass.
That's right. And just to say, the other three might as well not be there, because Hannah Waddingham is...
Waddingham. Sorry, I got that wrong, didn't I? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hannah Waddingham is not only unbelievably radiant, beautiful, statuesque, she is stealing the show. There is no need for anyone else to be there. She's giving it her all.
In French.
She's talking in French. She's wearing a beautiful red gown that fits her hourglass figure perfectly. She's got gorgeous sort of 1940s, 1950s style golden goddess curls.
Yeah, it's quite weird. Usually the hosts are insufferable.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Always really insufferable, terrible, cheesy jokes, which I got some of that from Alicia. She tried to do some scripted banter. Scripted banter is never a good idea. It didn't work at all. Anyway, look, we're here to cover the songs mainly and they voting, so we'll get straight to it. We have watched Austria. I am a huge fan of completely mental Eurovision entries.
As am I.
That's what I want. I want songs about Edgar Allan Poe. That is exactly what I want. I don't want songs about freedom and raising sheep and the beauty of my country. I want complete lunacy. And that was completely lunatic. Apart from the two people actually performing the song who were just sort of dragged in off the street and were shit.
I think that's a little harsh. I would say that I don't think they carried it off because in the middle they sort of ran out of breath and you could tell that they were struggling to actually do the live performance, which by the way is no mean feat. I mean, particularly where there's choreography. There wasn't a ton for them.
No.
What are your thoughts, Alfie?
I enjoyed like what was on the screens. I thought that was quite creative.
Yeah, the staging is, that's the best thing about Eurovision. The staging is crazy until we get to the UK when it will be the most boring. But you see all these other countries, you go, wow, that is incredible staging.
I mean, the two people performing were, I agree with you guys. They kind of ran out of breath after.
Talk into the mic, sweetie, not to us. We know you're here.
They kind of ran out of breath after a minute and a half, but the song was good. What I don't understand is, why don't you know who Edgar Allan Poe is?
Yeah, even you do, and you're like 3 years old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the 0.003 thing?
Yeah,
I have
didn't
no
understand
idea.
that.
I guess they were talking about royalties that they make from a streaming service, maybe? Like, isn't it? Don't you get like a fraction of a penny per
But did that
song?
Were
That
there
might
words
have been.
around that, or is that your guess?
I'm only guessing.
I have no idea what that song was about in any way, and I quite like that.
Yeah.
I like the Nation Army style video montage stuff as well. It's good.
Yeah, it was very red. They were both wearing, it was two ladies performing of an indeterminate age. I say that because they look like they're in their 20s maybe, but could be early 30s. One in white and red, one in sort of an outfit that P. Diddy would have worn in the late 90s. It's like this or maybe even Chris Rock. It's like it's like a pleather, shiny patent leather suit. Yeah. That
was nice. People in the UK of a certain age will remember shampoo. That's all I'm saying. Look up shampoo.
Okay, on to Portugal.
Yeah.
So that was the second entry, Ao Curaçao by Mimi Cat.
Yeah, Mimi Cat. Mimi Cat, who seems to be wearing the pelt of a murdered Elmo.
Yes.
Which is nice.
It's a very red motif. Look, I think they gave it their all in terms of the performance. The crowd seemed to love it.
Finish with a cha-cha-cha.
Always strong to finish with a cha-cha-cha.
Yep.
I would say slightly dated, unimaginative choreography. I didn't love the staging. I didn't love the song.
No, like once you've heard the first 5 seconds, you go, yeah, I know what this is, and then it just carries on being that.
Yeah, it sort of was a bit Balkan in its rhythms, wasn't it? It didn't feel Portuguese. It didn't feel even distinctly Iberian.
I don't mind that. I never mind when people do things that are sort of unusual. And I will say I have more imagination and energy than anything we usually put out. But still, like, she even sang it well. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It was good.
The performance was great.
It had joie.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it didn't go anywhere.
No, I need the song to take me on a journey, even if I don't understand immediately what that journey is.
I wouldn't mind going on a journey to Portugal.
Well, that's
a summer possibility.
Yes.
Alfie, any thoughts?
It's quite hard when you don't understand the language. I agree. After a couple of seconds, the song kept feeling quite repetitive. The choreography was also repetitive.
Ooh, burn. What you can do when they're singing in a different language, you can make up in your head what they're singing about.
I tried and I couldn't.
So that was Switzerland's entry. Young Man, our first ballad of the evening.
Well, War. Good God. Basically, it's what is it good for, right?
Yeah. I mean, I like the sentiment of it, what I could understand of it, look, it was pitched too low for his voice.
Yep.
It was giving Rick Astley a little bit. You know, that sort of like, I don't want to play with a real blood, never gonna give, never gonna give you up.
Who's the chap that you like, the singer that you like, George?
Ezra?
Yeah, you liked him when you were little. Do you remember? Yeah, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what's your mother making you listen to? Because I hate George Ezra.
I think there's one song that I enjoyed that I can't remember now.
Yeah. But it's that same thing. It's like white people with very sort of low... But if you're going to do it, if you're going to sing that low, you need the same volume that you would sing in your actual register, and he didn't have it.
No, he didn't hit the notes, and the song is written for his voice, so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Look, the staging was boring.
Yeah.
His suit was way too big. It was another like black sort of shiny patent leather with see-through paneling on some of it.
Yeah, I felt that if a bunch of gay moths had got into David Byrne's wardrobe.
Oh my God, that's so accurate.
That's what he would have found when he opened it up to get dressed in the morning.
But if he was going to like a leather and lace themed party.
Well, it didn't start off that way. There were his normal oversized suits.
Oh, I see.
But that is what a gay moth can do to your suit if you're not careful. That is what can happen. Yeah, I just thought it was really trite. And a song like that, it needs to erupt at some point, or there's no point.
And it never did.
Well, it tried. He does a high note and sort of runs on the spot. It's weird. I've never seen anyone like jog on the spot, but actually go forward at the same time. It was really weird, the little run he did. I've done runs like that when I'm desperate to get to the toilet.
It
didn't
looked
go.
There were other people on the stage, but they were totally forgettable.
Yeah.
They were like playing tug of war with gaffer tape, or what's it? Sorry, this is so obnoxious. What's it called in America?
Like duct tape.
Yeah.
No, it's rubbish. See ya. Hang on a minute. A costume change in the middle of a song.
No, I think she was behind a screen because there was a moment where it looked like it was a hologram or something projected onto a screen.
Well,
so I think that's what that was. I think she was probably still singing
feels like cheating
while she was changing.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of, you can't have a camera effect covering something. Like when Bucks Fizz, this is going back, when Bucks Fizz won Eurovision with Making Your Mind Up, and the boys pulled off the girls' skirts to reveal even shorter skirts underneath, that was a moment. But you got to it in camera. You can't just suddenly be wearing something else. Anyway, who was that?
Anyway, we're here to talk about the song. That was Poland's entry. Her name is Blanca. It's slightly confusing because part of the song was in Spanish. She looks like Lana Del Rey a little bit, but she was definitely giving Britney Spears in the beginning. She's got that sort of baby.
Well, the first line is, the first word is her going, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So that was, I don't know about
she's
this.
not a very good singer, is she? Though?
No, she's not. Maybe she should stick to DJing because she's also, but very confident performer.
And it had that classic Swedish kind of sound and rhythm Europop song, right? It's good. It's a good song.
It was very undeniably catchy. I don't know about the staging. I think the choreography was a bit blah, and also it was kind of like they were trying to do almost like a Malibu Barbie theme. Like it's all that color scheme of like that late 80s, early 90s, like bright pink, bright orange, bright blue.
But it was really weird starting with the VHS kind of effects and then not sticking
and then
with it.
Totally abandoning it.
Make up your mind. What are you doing here?
It was weird. Yeah. What did you think, Alfie?
I think it was the best so far. But I just... So was some of it like Was some of it recorded on a screen and then she came on stage? Or
Yeah, I think some of it's pre-recorded, and that's what I'm not buying. I'm not having
It's
it.
really confusing. It keeps switching between the two.
But you can't have
camera
anything
effects.
pre-recorded.
I think they did. Don't like it. I guess as long as the vocal's live, it's all right.
Inkers, what did you think?
Yep, it bored the bulldog. That was Bent Reznor.
Wait, is that homophobic?
Well, I just spent the entire song, genuinely, I had that joke in my head, and I was honestly Googling while the song was on going, can I say that? I think I can say that because it said with pure love, and I'm claiming the word, and Eurovision is a very, very gay thing, and absolutely nothing bad meant about it, but I don't think I've ever seen a gay Nine Inch Nails before, and I'm here for it.
Isn't Trent Reznor gay?
Trent Reznor's not gay, no.
He's not?
No.
Oh.
Don't think so. He does wear a lot of leather, but it doesn't mean.
I loved the Nine Inch Nails-ishness of it. It was conceptually a little bit all over the place. I think this is someone whose favorite movie is The Crow.
Yeah.
Judging by the way he was dressed, he was definitely. I'm sorry. I have to say. So Graham Norton, who is the sort of commentator for the proceedings, every country has their own.
Yeah.
And ours is, we're lucky to have Graham Norton.
I imagine if it gets shown in the States, they use Graham.
Yeah.
Probably any English-speaking countries get Graham.
National treasure, if you're unfamiliar with him. Well, we can't claim him because he's Irish, but he's an international treasure. And he's very funny. And there's, anyway, before this started playing, this was Serbia's entry, by the way.
Yeah. Luke Black.
Luke Black. So
Jack's brother.
Luke Black was standing in an open outdoor space. And Graham said, outstanding in his own field.
It's an old joke, but it's a good joke.
So good.
It's a good joke.
Yeah, so I don't know. It reminded me, he said his influences were video games, anime, and horror films. And I think there's a place where those meet, maybe not all at once in the same space, because it made the concept really confusing. And I think if you had a fluid concept, like if you were just gonna, like the first part looked a bit like, do you remember Aeon Flux? You probably don't. You probably do.
No,
oh, really?
Yeah.
So that was the aesthetic that I was getting. But then he's dressed like
Meatloaf. For some reason, he's dressed like Meatloaf.
Or like a bit like
low-fat meat, like Beyond Meatloaf.
he's just like Beyond
He's
Meatloaf.
a vegan Meatloaf.
No, he's a very svelte individual.
Yeah.
Lovely cheekbones. He's a very, very attractive young man. But yeah, the concept is confusing. The dancers were not dancing. They sort of looked like they were hooked up to. They looked like, what do they even look like?
They
I
were
don't know.
space zombies.
They were space zombies, but they were in full space suits.
Yeah.
And then he unplugged them and all this gas came out.
Yeah.
There was too much happening. And then there was this giant big robot on the screen in the background.
That's
It was
the thing,
just too much.
Yeah, you can't. It was a space hat on a space hat, right?
Yes, it was.
You can't just put a robot on the screen for no reason either.
No.
Like either the threat is the glowing alien pod, or the space zombies, or the robot. But you can't have them all.
I was with him in the beginning in the alien pod. Like that's a brilliant opening shot. What did you think?
Like most people in my anonymous age, a mixture of anime and video games and what else?
Horror films
and horror.
Yeah, you're into that stuff.
I quite liked it, except it all looks a little bit like I don't love the effects. It just doesn't look like it should.
Like, all the intention was there, but the actual delivery was a bit gubbins, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He couldn't sing. The song was rubbish, but I love the idea.
I did love the space zombies.
Right.
At first, I thought they were scuba divers until you.
That's what they looked like. You are so right. That's
Yeah.
so accurate. That is exactly.
Like drowned scuba divers or something. That kind of plays to the horror theme.
But what I really love, and this is what I love about Eurovision, is that things like that can like win. Either like there's a panel of people that go, yeah, well, obviously we'll do the space zombie scuba diving thing, or everyone in the country voted for that to represent their country. And I just think it's brilliant. And I just 1 year, I want us to do something like that.
I know,
1 year.
but we never go outside
never
the box.
Just give it everything.
Give it
Like,
everything.
See what happens. If the crowd's really impressed, they'll vote for it.
Yeah.
I liked the song, incidentally. I didn't like all of it.
No, but that's the
But
thing.
I
The bits where
really
he's trying to
liked-
sing were terrible.
I
weren't
liked the underneath part, whatever you call that. All right, on to France.
That super minor key piano motif is straight off the first Nine Inch Nails album. It's incredible. Anyway, if you're on a platform, you should be able to get the high notes.
Wow.
Oh my god. that
Yeah,
was so
I think
cheesy.
she knew she muffed it.
That was awful, France. That was Paloma Wraith. Sex Pistons. I'm trying to... a stilted performance. What more puns can I throw at you? Yeah, it was rubbish.
Apparently, she's very nice and everyone loves her. That's what Graham was saying. So she may get some points for personality, which I can't imagine is very common of the French.
I don't think people in the room are
contestants.
voting, though. So, you know.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Nah.
He said part of the vote comes from the audience.
Does it? That's new.
We'll go through the rules
All right, well,
at a
we'll get
later
to that.
stage. We need to at least break the first 10 before we do that.
I just want to say before you chip in, Alfla, it's a huge mistake, staging-wise, to stand in one place for your staging to force you to stay in one place rigidly, right? It got nothing from going up and down like that.
No.
All it did was make her performance even less dimensional than it should have been.
Yeah,
right?
she looked like a black wedding cake in the beginning. And once you've seen that, you're just like, okay. And then the dress part goes away and then she's just kind of going. It's like watching somebody go up and down in a lift.
Right.
It's not,
Fancy lift,
that
yeah.
exciting.
It's being stuck in a lift with a screaming French woman for 3 minutes, and I can do without it. Alfie.
I think the voters are going to be saying au revoir to that one.
So that was Cyprus. Pretty young Australian man who is, I guess, Cypriot from way back. His grandparents are Cypriot.
It's like a Peter Andre type.
But nowhere near as good a vocalist and nowhere near as good a performer. And
No, and the song was Imagine
so
Dragons.
boring.
Believer. Imagine Drag Race, if you will.
Listen, if you're going to do a solo performance, you better not come out looking like you just got off your shift at the spa at the White Lotus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the set of Karate Kid 4.
It's not working. Boring costume, boring song, boring effects. It was raining and then there was fire. It's really not that. That weather is not going to help you.
No, like party, like in the States you haven't because you have adverts. In this country, we have party political broadcasts that the major broadcasters have to show, like in the run up to elections, right? And you have these sort of dreary, dour politicians, and they're always in front of a green screen or a blue screen. They think that by putting exciting visuals behind them, that there'll be anything more than just dull, boring politicians. And that's what that was. You can put fire behind someone, but it doesn't mean that the performance is on fire.
Alfie?
That it's just like, I agree. It's basically Imagine Dragons Believer.
Yeah.
and I mean, you started playing it as we were watching it, and it blended in.
It's the same song. Yeah.
It's the same song,
but not as good.
It's basically entirely plagiarized.
Oh, shots fired, Alfie. Shots fired.
Watch your cable there.
Yeah, that was Chypriot.
Oh, God.
What do you think that song was about, Alfie? That was Spain. What do you think it was about?
Well, for one, her costume looked like Vecna from Stranger Things.
Okay.
And,
I'm behind on Stranger Things, but okay.
And that song was definitely a strange thing. It was,
Oh, he's on a roll.
It was just... it's like... It didn't... I mean, I think Michelle... Do you understand any of it? I know.
Talking to your mic, sweetie.
Talk to the mic because the stepmom ain't listening.
No, that's not true. I just want his words to be captured accurately. I don't want you moaning later. Oh, I can't hear him on the edit.
Yeah, I have no idea what that was about. No idea at all.
Yeah.
She seemed frustrated. It was like one of those, I've run the dishwasher, but I haven't put the capsule in. Kind of like,
just washing it with water.
Just washing it with water.
To give you an idea of the color scheme and the staging, we've got a giant lampshade,
Sure.
sort of like a blood red lampshade. We've got ladies in long skirts dancing, and the lead singer is in like, it looks like a resin top that looks a bit like a scab, and then sort of bright
really
white
badly infected scab,
bright white, like mock reptile cargo pants, and then white patent leather platform shoes. It's never clear to me how to judge these songs that for me fall squarely in sort of folk song territory. Like this sounds, and I'm so sorry, I'm taking an ill-informed stab here, but this sounds kind of like a Romany type song. And of course there is a big Romany population in Spain, but it is a definite type of Eurovision song where they go for sort of a Romany or like a Bedouin style.
Yeah, there's an Arabian kind of influence, you know. But the thing is that those styles of music have got different scales, right? You've got not just semitones, but many tones between the tones, right? And so I don't know if I can legitimately say that's flat and that's sharp, because I think it's supposed to be sometimes. What I can say is that there was nothing resembling a song there, and I don't think it's just my naivety, right? There were no real there was nothing there. It was just those kinds of scales over some presets from Native Instruments. Massive.
Yeah, I've already forgotten it. And no, Alfie asked if I understood any of the lyrics. No, absolutely not. I don't even know that it was in Spanish. I couldn't tell.
It was Spain to entry, but I couldn't. I don't think it was any language. It might have been.
Do you think not? Do you think it was just like they've just made up sounds?
I'm sure it was, and it might have been a Spanish dialect that I don't understand. Like I said, there's lots of possibilities. I'm not the person to judge or criticize it either way, because I just don't know enough about this genre of music.
I am. It was boring as hell. Well, she nailed it. Nailed
it, and yeah.
That was clawsome. Sweden, there.
I need to say that this is Loreen, who won 11 years ago now, with the song Euphoria, which is an absolute banger. Go listen to it now. That Eurovision was probably my favorite. I remember where I was. I remember the night, how much fun we had, who I was with. So I've got a very sentimental attachment to Loreen. I think she's a phenomenal performer. Yeah. She is dressed by the Freddy Krueger for Terry Mugler collection.
Freddie Mugler.
Freddie Mugler.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, she's an incredible performer.
It's
She,
Mugler.
yeah, fine. I was thinking about the joke and not getting hung up on the pronunciation, but thank you for ruining that for me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, she's a tremendous performer. I don't know how, as a singer myself, and certainly not a professional one, but as a singer myself, I don't know how she can sing lying down in various states of legs and arms moving everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, she might as well be swimming on dry land, and I have no idea how she does it, but you cannot take your eyes off her.
No.
I don't
If
look.
only because she might come for you at any moment. I mean, it was an intimidating performance, right? Like when you have so many performers talking, this kind of vogue of the strong, powerful. But that's a strong, goddamn powerful woman.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's someone who doesn't give a shit, and it was fucking awesome.
And it's wonderful to watch, even though
Apologies,
I
Alfie.
didn't care for the song. Alfie?
Well, that song was called Tattoo, and I think that would be tattooed into my brain because that was pretty good.
What are these cheesy
Wow.
local radio?
No, come on. He's doing exactly what the presenters would be doing.
That's right. Absolutely.
okay.
He'll be getting the job next year. Yeah.
Stop being jealous, Robin. Just because a telemarketer called you an old man,
No, seriously.
you have to take apart our jokes.
That
All right, let's
actually
move on.
happened this week. Who was that?
That was Albania.
Yeah.
Um,
A family affair.
It was not just a sister act. It was the whole family. There's one of the daughters is at the center of it, and what appears to be the only son is carrying with him what I would call, and look, I'm not a Kardashian fan or regular viewer, but I am aware of Rob Kardashian and his role in the show and his presence generally. He absolutely does not want to be there.
Yeah.
Does not want to be there. It's all over his face.
I like the bit where he has to go.
Yeah, he did.
It's so controversial. He's going. "Ugh."
Yeah, I don't know. It was.
He reminded me of Charlie from 90 Day, personally. But that's
That Charlie.
Yeah,
is.
the
What
grumpy
are you
brother.
Talking about.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get in a fight with someone. In fact, in my head, I was thinking the dynamics here are there is something 90 Day-ish about this. Like, she wants to get married to this guy, and she's like, I don't care that he's from another country or whatever, and the family are like, no. So in my head, that's what that was all about.
I wonder what it's actually about. I don't look again. Sorry, it's not really my genre of music. I don't
No.
really understand it. Don't feel, but that's not why you're listening to this. You're listening. So basically, it's like the Addams Family. Everyone's in black. There's a mom and dad who are singing to each other and some forgettable children. And there's one who's at the center getting all the attention. And she's just sort of
She was really upset at the start.
writhing on the floor.
When it starts, she's like,
Yeah, wailing.
It was very odd.
Yeah, wailing. I wish Florian was here so he could tell us what he thought, but not a particularly strong entry from Albania this year.
Not that. Have we said who Florian is? Not that.
No,
Florian.
not that Florian.
Not that Florian. Michelle's got a guy who comes around to sort of pulverize her once a week. That sounded wrong. It's not a
Osteopath.
Yeah.
Which is a different thing. Just like how a midwife is a different thing in America to what it is in the UK. It's the same
right.
as an osteopath. Like in America, to be an osteopath, you can just call yourself an osteopath, but here it's a regulated thing.
Yeah.
You have to do a lot of training for it. So anyway, that's a huge
this
explanation
bloke's
over
name
nothing.
isn't Florian, but a bit like Alfie. We call him Florian
call him
because he
Florian.
reminds us of Florian from Darcy and Stacey.
Yeah, he's also not Albanian, but
No.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I find it quite nice how a family's willing to perform together.
You up for it next year, kiddo?
Up for what?
You know,
I mean,
want to get on stage with us?
yes.
Yeah.
Maybe. I doubt it. But
do you
Depends
think?
on how good the song is.
You, me, Michelle, the dogs. We could give it some,
I
right?
think he could play the snore.
Yeah, he can make turkey noises. Be a bit like that.
If you have a
Just
Frenchie, you know what we're talking about with
Bro.
turkey
And,
noises.
I think a Frenchie wrote that song. It was, yeah, it wasn't very
yeah,
good.
but one of her brothers, he keeps a straight face. It's like he's absolutely silent.
Yeah, that's who we were
for
talking
that.
about. Where
Yeah.
were you?
What? No,
All right, I need to
Never
pee.
has a pause button wanted to be pressed so much.
So that was Italy's entry. This gentleman apparently is the most listened to artist in Italy. He's a superstar there. He had the most radio plays. I think
Did
they were saying
invent radio in Italy? Marconi, was he actually Italian? He sounded Italian. And that's what they've ended up with.
I don't get it. I
No.
hated their entry last year. I didn't like this one either. Was he performing with conviction? I guess. I just didn't feel it, and I didn't feel the he was Graham Norton did say he was dressed as the wife of a mayor at sort of like a fundraising event. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, we think Claire Underwood from House of Cards.
Yeah,
vibes.
his top was sort of gray, muted gray sparkles, crystals at the top, and then fading into black sparkles, and then of course leather pants, which seemed to be, or leather trousers, I should say, which seemed to be a theme, a running theme among everyone this year. What did you think of that performance, Alfie?
I don't love the costume.
What about the song?
Was there a song?
There was a song.
Yeah, there was sort of.
I just saw like a little bit of a moon in the background with some silhouettes, and that's kind of it.
Well, the silhouettes, I think it should be said, were
Human beings.
going upstairs and then falling onto a trampoline and then going back up the stairs.
Health and safety nightmare.
Yeah. Oh,
It
God.
didn't detract from the. Look, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's not for me. Maybe it's for someone else. It's clearly for a huge number of Italians, but it's not for me.
I'm sure not going
care
near a
for it.
trampoline again.
Oh no, we all remember that time Alfie came in running into the house. Not even screaming at his usual sort of I've got a paper cut like volume, but just thumb pointing entirely the wrong way. Trampolines and death traps, people, don't go near them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the day that I realized how much of a parent I am, really, because I was able to completely switch off my own palpable horror at what I had seen. And I went, it's not that bad. We'll put some ice on it.
Yeah, it was basically,
I was very calm.
it was pretty much that scene from Hereditary.
Sound like the school nurse. We can just put some ice on it. And
The shade. So that was Estonia. Young lady, 20-year-old, in fact, with a self-playing piano that didn't make a whole lot of sense with the concept.
No, are we supposed to be impressed by like, I don't know, a 40-year-old technology now? I think self-playing pianos.
I mean, yeah, you literally just type a song into it and it plays it.
Yeah,
I
they've been
didn't-
around so long.
The song wasn't great. It was a ballad, but here's the thing. I think a more seasoned lady could have really sold that, because there's only to sing a ballad that's about, things that you regret and how you wish that you could do it all again, right? It doesn't wash when you're 20. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're an old soul, which this young lady clearly is not. She looks about 14. And
I mean, Alfie's only 6, but there's loads of stuff he regrets. Leaving the keys in the house yesterday, something he regrets. He could sing a song about that.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? To do a sort of torch song style ballad, or even one of these, you really need a seasoned performer. All right,
Well, hang on. I just want to say, what I disliked most about her was the way she did that little Lulu screwing up your nose thing. Do you notice that?
Yeah,
I hate that.
it suggested to me that she didn't know what the words meant that she was singing, which in fairness, she may not have, because it was in English.
Any really pithy thoughts? You don't have to comment if you haven't got anything pithy to say.
What does that mean?
So I guess now we know what Pennywise looks like with his makeup off.
Yeah, you know what? I don't have a bad word to say about this. This to me is what Eurovision is about. It's unapologetically bonkers.
Completely bonkers. It's like Lordi. Do you remember Lordi?
I don't.
Were they Norwegian, the metal band? I love it when it goes.
No, they were Finnish. They mentioned Lordi.
They were Finnish. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Well, Finland is a crazy country. They always put crazy things in. I adored that.
I loved this. And for those of you, if there is any song that we've talked about so far that you need to see, you must see this. This is unmissable.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's entirely bonkers. I know I say I need a narrative and a journey and everything.
No.
If you do this, you don't have to. It doesn't have to make sense.
No.
There is a gentleman who, let's say, has a dad bod, who is bare-chested with big green inflatable sleeves. The 4 dancers.
It's like is it green or yellow?
It's green.
Okay, I'm colorblind.
It's like a neon green.
It's a neon green PVC bolero jacket.
Yeah. Again, with leather pants, because
With leather pants.
that's the theme this year. With a dad bod, with a bit of a belly happening, and we've got 4 backup dancers who are like surreally tanned with. I think they're wearing fake teeth, because I've never seen teeth like that in my entire life, even coming out of Liverpool, which is saying something.
And at one stage, they're doing like a human centipede.
Yes. And the
kind of thing.
And the singer is like riding
the human centipede.
Yeah, it's unapologetically bonkers. It's got a metal aspect to it. I love it. I think this
it's got a kind of weird, like tinky catchy K-pop kind of thing.
Yeah, it turns into like a song from an anime.
Yeah, it's completely insane, absolutely brilliant. Well done, Scandinavia. You are like,
you have shown up this year.
Yeah, this is a Scandi wonderland. It really is.
Czechia had a brilliant performance this year. What do you guys think about it?
Well, we should say for our listeners, because I was not aware of this, when we say Czechia, we're talking about what many of us may know as the Czech Republic. They've asked to be referred to as Czechia, so we are. Who
knew? When a country changes its name like that, who knew? I mean, do we have to, outside of Eurovision, call it Czechia now?
I don't know. I'm going to have to investigate and discover. I'm not sure. Look, this is another classic subgenre of Eurovision song contest. It is a political song. It is slightly, perhaps overly earnest. I loved it, though. They had big, long. It was a girl group. Again, paradoxically, it's quite difficult, I think, to sell a feminist anthem as a girl group when you're dressed like adorable little pink dollies.
They are not your dolls.
They kept saying they're not my dolls, but they look an awful lot like dolls.
They're not dolls, they're not puppets. All those hands behind you notice how there was no puppets on those hands.
Strings, you mean?
Yeah, no, but I was thinking it was like glove puppets, but someone had forgot to put the glove puppet on the hands, so they're doing it.
They had these amazing floor-length braided ponytails that they then whipped around joyfully, and I think, unfortunately, it wasn't quite there. Like I said, It was a mix of this kind of slightly overly earnest political messaging and joy, or the joie of performance, and these two things don't necessarily go together. Robin?
Well, the pug just kept staring at him going, yeah, going for a walk would be fun. That's what she was thinking. It's like they were wearing leads. It was fine. It was quite good. It was quite good, but it wasn't like, wow.
I think right now it's Finland, Sweden, and Czechia.
Yeah, you think they're in there?
Yeah, they have the upper hand.
Alrighty.
You know, the over 25s on X Factor.
Yeah.
How it's always like, it's more like over 35s.
Yeah.
And you sort of feel bad for them a little bit.
But then they're brilliant.
Yeah. I couldn't really take in much of that performance visually because the strobe lights were too much for me. I get easily overwhelmed. And I have to say, metal is also not my genre, but man, they looked like they were having a great time. They are easily 20 years older than everybody else that we've seen perform, and they really know how to work the audience. They loved
brilliant.
what they were doing.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it was a joy to watch. I love to watch performers who are really into it like that and are really able to connect with the audience in such a way.
Also, really good song. Also, he attacked every note and hit every note. And weirdly, considering they're Australian, he was singing in a kind of generic Euro accent, which I loved. He actually sounded like Morten Harket from a-ha, I thought, which was really weird. Like Morten Harket singing over like kind of electro metal. That is my jam right there. I've got time for that. Alfie.
Yeah, I think that was pretty good. I mean, I quite like the effect of like the city in the background and the guy in the car in the foreground.
Okay.
I like how he gets out of the car and then just starts performing.
Right.
It's awesome.
Do you think he drove himself there?
I don't think. I think the car was put there because that car doesn't work because it's a prop.
Okay.
This is another one I would recommend
just
watching because it's just a joy to watch.
Yeah,
I can promise you that it's going to be all right.
It was basically the Uber ride of your nightmares.
And I'm not a metal fan. I don't have any judgments about it. It's fine. It's just, it's not for me. I find it very difficult to listen to.
The older I get, the more I love metal because it's completely confident in itself. It knows what it wants to be. It never tries to be anything other than itself. I love the sincerity of metal. I also love people that like metal.
I also love people that like metal.
They're usually the sweetest and loveliest people, and they look like the sweetest, loveliest people. So well done, Australia. They haven't been in the competition for a few years, but it's good to see them back. For anyone wondering why Australia is part of the Eurovision Song Contest, join the flipping club. But just wait till Israel turn up. Gustav from Belgium.
That song got me in the feels. My eyes are burning a little bit with tears because that was so different to anything else that we've seen tonight. It was another seasoned performer. I believe they said that he got his first record contract at 18, and he's certainly many years beyond that now.
Yeah, I dare say he was making that kind of music when people made that kind of music.
Yeah, it was sort of late 80s disco influenced.
CNC Music Factory.
Yeah.
Yaz and the Plastic Population for UK heads there, yeah.
And there were lots of visual references to, well, in fact, they had a dancer who was doing ballroom, like as in Vogue ballroom, not Dancing with the Stars ballroom. It felt so celebratory, and also I guess what got me is, where we are sadly in the Western world with demonizing drag queens and queer people in general. And this felt like a much needed anthem, kind of in the face of all that.
Yeah, I'll buy that. But like, if there's one safe place in the world, God damn it, it's Eurovision.
It is. And we're so lucky to have this and this is why, sorry, this is why Eurovision is so important, and also why America's not allowed to come in, because this is a safe space.
Yeah.
And no one's allowed to ruin it.
That's right.
It doesn't matter what each country's stance is. This
Correct.
This is the event where everything queer is celebrated, exalted, adored.
Central.
Yeah. It's
right.
really...
Cut Eurovision down the middle and it says queer, right? And that doesn't mean that straight people are very, very welcome, but they are not at the core of this. And the core of this is queer.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is brill.
Alfie?
I noticed that all of the dancers and singers were actually professional, because I feel like in some of the other songs everybody but like the main person isn't very good.
Yeah, you got the feeling.
No, these were professional singers. Yeah.
You felt like those ladies like carried the PAs into small club gigs where their feet stick to the floor every night, right?
Yeah, they put the work in.
Yeah, they're like proper jobbing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sort of made me sad that I think, with all due respect to, what's his name, Gavin?
Gustav.
With all due respect to Gustav, I would have loved to see a woman of color, really knock this one out of the park.
I know, I totally agree.
Right?
Do a black box Ride on Time kind of vocal on that, really like mouth full open, belting it out.
Yeah.
Would have been he wasn't very good. Bless him. Gustav was the worst thing about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, fine.
That was Armenia. That whole thing made me so uncomfortable.
One for the dads. Ariana Piccolo there.
She's 21.
Yeah.
She's still got braces.
Yeah.
No, she actually does have braces on her teeth.
Yeah.
That's an issue for me. And the ending pose was, to put it mildly, pornographic. And look, I have no objection. You all know that I'm very sex positive, just not when it looks like a teenaged girl. Again, this is another sort of forgettable ballad with a hip hop part in it. She did fine.
Yeah, I thought it was confident.
She was good. Yeah,
it was confidently performed. And if you're just going to have one person doing a thing on a stage, the staging was pretty damn good. The lighting was very clever. I thought it was fine.
And she was sewed into her outfit as well, which is another thing that freaked me out about it. I just didn't. Texturally, it didn't work for me. Conceptually, it didn't work for me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that kind of the bondage strappy kind of corsetry, that kind of fashion. It always looks tatty to me.
Yeah, it looks cheap.
Yeah, it looks cheap.
Yeah, but very beautiful. Can't really sing, but good performer.
Oh, good Lord, she couldn't sing. I forgot that singing is quite a major component of this.
Well, as you say, this one's for the dads, evidently. Alfie?
Well, I think for the chorus, I heard a bagel and a corn in the goal.
Sure, it's about it's about eating a corn bagel while you're playing football and you're in goal.
I think she was saying, I want to be good, look good, act good, or something like that.
Okay.
But who knows? Anyway, on to the next.
Party time for the Dothraki.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Moldova.
That staging was so interesting. I think those hair helmets with the long horns are, I think they are the Bart Simpson wolves of 2023.
I'm just saying, I don't know where I can get you one of those, but I'd be very interested in you wearing it sometime.
A hair helmet.
Yep.
That's the only way I can describe it. The gentleman singer, very attractive, man bun happening, but it's fine. We had a little person,
A little
Valkyrie type,
playing the horn, the flute.
playing the flute.
Well, what was in the background, Alfie?
Well, the background was very random. It looked like it was going from a butthole to a black hole to a Doctor Strange portal to Mars.
Yep, that's exactly right. That's exactly what it was.
I didn't,
Flaming butthole.
I didn't notice
What Johnny
the
Cash
background.
referred to as a ring of fire.
You two, honestly. Honestly. Well done, Moldova. I was absolutely captivated by that,
Yeah,
and it
that's
had
great.
nothing to do with the gorgeous bearded man who, yes, was...
Sorry, was there a man?
Have to say, don't think lightning's gonna strike twice this year. That was a very disappointing entry from Ukraine, I'm afraid.
I quite liked it. I did. I quite liked it. I thought it was really brave to go from what they had last year to that, which is like really quite different. I thought as a song it was quite good, actually. It was interesting sounding, lyrically a bit crap, but it was just sung badly. But I'm always a sucker for dancers interacting with video screens. I always like that. It's always good. And they did it really well. But I didn't think much of the keyboard bloke. He was embarrassing.
I thought the vocalist let it down completely.
Yeah, he
I
wasn't
thought
good. He wasn't.
had no stage presence.
The dogs agree.
The dogs agree. Oops.
Yeah, maybe a couple of singing lessons.
He just didn't. He didn't have
Anything
anything to give.
No.
It was really disappointing. Like, it actually made me angry how much it let it down. Particularly considering, they could have gotten another vocalist from Nigeria who would have leapt at that opportunity.
Do they have to get one from Nigeria?
Well, he was from
Nigeria. Yeah, but you could have got one from anywhere, couldn't you? There's nothing so
I was
special.
trying to make an Usman crossover joke.
Oh man, can you imagine Usman doing that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sure, look, obviously.
You're quite right. He was indeed a Nigerian pharmacologist. I don't know whether Usman has studied pharmacology. And yeah, he just wasn't very good, bless him. But, slim pickings probably at the moment in Ukraine, not a lot of ability to hang out in studios making songs, so we'll give them a bit of leeway. I thought they did a pretty reasonable job considering. Anything pithy to say, Alfie?
I think this year Ukraine had... Last year, I remember that song. Even though I didn't watch the performance, I just remember it just from seeing it, just from hearing it.
Yeah, it sinks into the
But
zeitgeist.
this, I won't remember
No.
for any longer than a couple of hours.
So that was Norway's entry. Italian singer. She's half Norwegian, half Italian, grew up in Italy. Only significant because I'm like, Is that cheating? No, it isn't, because like you said, lots of people don't sing their own songs. My favorite costume of the evening, hands down, by far, she was serving
What, more than Pennywise's Bolero?
way more than that.
Oh.
It reminded me of the show that is probably, it's not in the West End anymore, but The Six, about all the wives of Henry VIII. She was serving Anne Boleyn Star Trek realness there.
Yeah, it was quite Star Trek. The mix was really weird on that. Like, she was really low in the mix.
Yeah, I couldn't hear her at all.
No, it was awful. I mean, the mini Ripperton note I'll give her, but like, if you can do that, maybe show off the singing a bit more. Right.
I think it was just bad sound production, unfortunately, because I think she was a great performer. I couldn't take my eyes off her. She definitely has fabulous stage presence, and the crowd absolutely loved her. Alfie?
Once again, the Scandi Nordics region.
Yep,
massively
they've really brought it.
over-indexing this year. Yeah, Alfie.
I mean, I think that's the only costume that hasn't worn, like, white jeans. White trousers today.
Well, hang on a minute, Alf. What about all the leather trousers we've seen?
Sorry, all the white leather trousers.
What about the black leather trousers we've seen?
I've seen a lot of the white leather
Black
trousers.
velvet in that little boy's smile.
Sorry, listeners, it
idea
would
what
appear
that
that
Velvet in that
Alfie's,
slow southern style.
it's descending
I think I've
into
engaged
chaos. Glamstein there. Glamstein, Ramstein. Is it Ramstein or Ramstein? I've always got to be careful not to Jewish them up.
I think it's Ramstein.
Okay, Glamstein, I'm calling them. Germany.
For me, this is German Eurovision entry par excellence.
Yeah.
I loved the energy.
Yep.
I love multi-level staging like that. The costumes are crazy. Little bit of David Bowie influence there, I noticed.
Little bit of David Bowie, quite a lot of Britney Spears Toxic.
Yeah, there was that too. Look, is it my favorite genre of music in the world? No. It's not one that I'll be playing on Spotify, but to watch it is an absolute marvel. And this is why I love Germany's entries every year, because they always come through confidently with something like this, unapologetically, and it's just a joy to watch.
I think my all-time favorite Eurovision entry, I think, was Germany. Might have been Russia, but it was the say the password, the password, the password. And it was, hey, if you want to get my love. And again, it was some really weird sort of hairy men. And I am here for this shit year after year. I love it.
There's a bulldog in distress, so I'm going to sort that out.
That is the sound of the French entry.
Yep.
It's the French entry for next year's Eurovision, or possibly Turkey. So, if your song mainly consists of one note, you should be able to sing that note, shouldn't you?
I don't want to go too hard on her. Look, it's really difficult to stand out this year because with as much bitching as I've done, it really is compared to the past few years. This has actually been quite a good year.
Lithuania there, singing a song. We think about Oompa Loompas, not entirely sure. It's fine. It's fine.
Utterly forgettable.
Yeah,
no chance.
She
Sorry.
just didn't strike me as being so good that she should get to do it twice, because she's done it before, and I'm like, is that as good as it gets in Lithuania? Maybe
because if so, we should move to Lithuania.
You will be a flipping star.
Yeah.
Wow. Another one for the dads, I'd say.
Yeah. What are unicorns most famous for?
Don't know.
And what's the distinguishing feature of a unicorn?
The horn?
There you go.
That was Israel. If anyone was ever in doubt about whether the most attractive people in the world are Israeli, I think you will get your answer there. That was
Singapore not eligible. West African countries not eligible.
Sure.
Weirdly, Israel is eligible, but that's a whole other conversation.
It doesn't matter. She's here. She's a unicorn. I loved the song. I loved the performance. The floor show was 5 stars.
Yeah. Not the greatest singer. Right?
I don't think it matters.
Nah, I don't think it does.
I don't think your mouth closed the whole time she was on stage.
I mean, I'm just saying that she is welcome to be our unicorn if she would like to pop around.
Oh, Robin.
Yeah, no, quite good. I will say, though, I'm not sure the unicorns have got much power because there aren't any around anymore, right? If they were that powerful,
I mean, were they?
we'd be taking the unicorns to the park, wouldn't we?
Were they ever around? So she has absolutely no power.
No power at all. She has the power.
No power. She has power of a fictional being.
Yeah, I mean, she has some power, but we won't go into that. Well done, Israel. Israel's been quite good quite a few years. They do know how to do this. But they haven't got a hope in hell of winning.
No.
So sometimes I wonder if a song is so bad, whether the country should no longer be allowed to exist. Like Slovenia is literally just ceases to exist because their entry was so... There needs to be jeopardy.
Look, there's at least one of these every year.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that there weren't more. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there are years where this is all you get.
Yeah.
Basically what they do is they take a group of guys who are
stage school kids,
but they couldn't even make like a boy band cover band because they're not good looking enough. Mm-hmm. They give them instruments that they don't play.
Well, who knows?
Okay, which of those were actually playing the instrument? I hate these. I think they're cheesy.
Yeah.
It's always a mediocre, nothing song. Mm-hmm. They're always terrible singers.
And they do these inane grins at the camera.
Because they think they're so cute.
Yeah.
And I can't bear it.
Yeah.
Do you remember My Sweet Cheesecake?
No.
Of course you don't.
No.
Because it was one of the more egregious one of these. And
they're often from Norway, these ones, aren't they?
No, they're always from that middle... I don't want to talk out of...
Central European. Yeah. Okay.
It's Central Europe, I would say.
Yeah, it was rubbish, right, Alfie?
Yeah, it was crap.
Okay, help the bulldog, please.
If Stanley Kubrick entered Eurovision.
I think that's a bit reductive.
Wow, okay.
I think that was pretty singular in its vision and execution.
Yeah, I was thinking like Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah, there was definitely references to that film, and how fitting because it's a satirical band performing an anti-war song.
Yeah.
Again,
Croatia, we should say Croatia.
Yes.
The imagination. And I will just say, not just the staging, but musically. Like the bit where it goes in a completely different time signature and the crazy frog seems to be going in the background was just insane. It reminded me of Sparks a little bit. The still going, but 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010, 2020s pop group Sparks. I love that shit. It was great.
I loved it too. And again, put this at the top of the list of ones that you have to see to believe and really experience and understand. It's
the balls, the sheer balls of a country to have that representing them. Right?
Yeah, and I should say these are seasoned performers as well. They've been performing together since 1986. And they have worn the least amount of clothing in the competition so far.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some skin tonight. But
we've
not
had some
quite
skin
like
tonight.
that.
There have been some references occasionally to the smell of the green room, and I can make an educated guess as to who might be responsible for the bulk of that.
Yeah.
Especially if these guys have worn the same underwear 4 nights in a row.
If you thought Bryan Cranston struggled in his tiny whities in Breaking Bad, you want to see these chaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alfie?
That was even wilder than Finland.
It was wilder than Finland. I think we've only got one left to go, and I think it's us here in the UK, so let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be a hater and say it. Muller, I barely know her. In fairness, that's the style of song that is perfect for Eurovision.
Fine, good. I'm glad you say this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I've wanted us to do for years, right? Mm-hmm. It's a Eurovision song with some actual staging.
Yep.
Right?
The staging was great.
Right? Usually, we just put someone bland on stage with some blue lights and that'll do, right? Which is insane, given how much we spend on the show. We never spend anything on our staging, right? The kind of song is quite a catchy song. It's not a bad song. She wrote the song. It's not a bad song.
No, it's perfect for this competition.
She's just not very good.
She's just not very good. She's like a provincial hairdresser or someone's auntie, kind of nice enough girl. I'm sure she's lovely. I'm sure she is not a star.
I will say the staging was brilliant. It was, and it sort of works because she definitely has that Instagram look, or I'm probably dating myself here. She has the influencer look, you know, so it worked having her face in the background and all the sort of nails and those kind of graphics. I think that was probably better staging than we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Just a shame. She couldn't really carry it off.
She couldn't carry it off. And you can't be doing these empowerment kind of lyrics and all the finger waving and everything unless you've actually got something to back it up, right? Sound and fury signifying nothing. Once again, we blow it. But not a bad song, not bad staging, but you just need all three. You need all three.
Mm-hmm. So we've just seen a recap of all the acts. Robin, do you want to tell us your favorites?
Yeah, All Prejudice is confirmed. I was right the first time. Sweden top for me. Loved Finland, loved Croatia, loved Germany. I love the mental metal ones, I'll be honest. I think Israel is really strong. Seeing it again, I still like that UK song, actually. I think it's a good song. Shame about the performer. But yeah, for me, it's Sweden.
Sweden for me as well. That was without a doubt my favorite, although I wouldn't be mad if Finland won because, again, that captures everything that Eurovision means to me. My favorite song, though, was Belgium. But I'm not going to vote against Loreen. Alfie?
Top three. Third would be Finland. Second would be Belgium, but first would be Sweden.
There we go. Let's see.
So we are halfway through now, which means I'm going to explain the rest of the rules to you. So in each show, after all the songs have been performed, each country will give 2 sets of points. So the points go from 1 to 12 to their favorite songs. 1 set is given by a jury of 5 music industry professionals from that country. And 1 set is given by the viewers watching the show in that country. Does that make sense?
Yeah, plus the rest of the world.
Yes, now this year they've added the rest of the world. So viewers, you can't vote anymore because it's over, but viewers can vote by phone, text, and through the official app. Now, you cannot vote for your own country.
And when Michelle says from 1 to 12, it's not actually 1 to 12 because there's no 9 and there's no 11, I think. If
I'm
memory serves
sorry.
right. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, 10 points, and 12
You're right.
points.
Forgive me. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. So to get your 12, to get your 12 points, big deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the semifinals, only those countries that took part in that specific show can vote, along with 2 or 3 of the big 5 who are automatically in the grand final. Whereas in the grand final, all competing countries can vote. At the end of the grand final, the song that has received the most points wins the trophy and is performed once more. So it's worth saying we were runners up last year with probably, again, the last hope we ever had. at least in our lifetime.
For another 25 years.
Yeah.
And I think he's performing right now for a little sing-song.
So we're going to watch him because we love him.
Yeah. Uh-oh, tears alert.
Yes. We have just had a very special treat. Some past performers from Eurovision have done a Liverpudlian medley of songs culminating in You'll Never Walk Alone, a Rodgers and Hammerstein song originally. Now, we have made no secret of our loyalties. We are a Spurs family. Therefore,
We have never said that on the podcast.
Oh, really?
I'm sure we've said it.
No, because immediately any UK fans that we have, right?
We get backlash.
They've gone now.
No, that's not true. I know we have at least one listener who's a Spurs fan.
We have at least one. I know that we do.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, anyone that cares about these things, it's a curse, not a blessing, right? You're born into this stuff. It ain't a choice.
Yep. I mean,
Lord knows we wouldn't choose it right now.
I had to go with it because you went with it.
That's right. Otherwise, you'd have to find another father.
And your dad went with it.
That's right.
All right, let's not taint this with talk of sport. But what I'm saying is we have a natural aversion to that song because it is the song of the Liverpool Football Club.
Correct.
Yeah.
and many other clubs around the world, weirdly, which you often forget, all around Europe, actually. But, yeah, most famously Liverpool. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
And
the song of the city. They co-opted it and made it their own.
And our American listeners will have heard the Elvis version. You will have heard it in the musical Carousel.
Sinatra sang it.
Yes. So it's a known song. And there I was kind of with a grimace on my face. And then because the previous songs were all sort of reimaginings or reinterpretations, we had most notably in my mind, we had Netta from Israel doing, what's the actual title of that song?
It's got parentheses and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it is literally You Spin Me Right Round, brackets, like a record, brackets, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. She did a fabulous version of that. She is a powerhouse of a singer and performer.
That's awesome. The Swedish lass doing the Mel C song was really awesome. She gave it some.
Yeah, and that adorable, was it that Danish guy doing the Atomic Kitten song?
Really good.
That was so
Really good.
fun.
I want pixel art jumpers with my face on it.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
Please.
Anyway, why are we tearful? Well, everybody just walked on stage and we saw via satellite, as we used to say in the old days, the entry from Ukraine about 4 years ago, who I think won, and a youth choir in Ukraine. and then, yeah, you really feel
Yeah, you do. Phil.
the meaning of the song.
Yeah, you really do. And
I'm sorry, you guys.
That's all right. It is honestly the power of Eurovision.
It is, yeah.
And they talk about the Eurovision family. They really do. And you really felt it through all of that. Even my stone cold heart was moved. I was also moved before when Sam Ryder did his thing because we adore him. And Roger Taylor from Queen on drums. Quite a good halftime show.
It was.
Right?
It was fantastic.
Because the halftime show is usually the bit that you go for a poo.
If you haven't seen Sam Ryder on the TikToks, look him up. He's such a genial performer.
He's adorable. He is a Muppet in human form. And
so bursting with enthusiasm and talent and just passion like you've never seen before.
I know, and a smile that can launch spaceships.
Oh,
wonderful.
I mean, he got us to second place last year. He should perform again.
He should perform again. You're
yeah,
absolutely
and I don't
right.
know why he didn't get.
Well,
this
he
year.
did. We got to see him.
Yeah,
but
he
we
didn't
should enter.
He didn't perform our entry.
Now, we're a little upset that our Hannah hasn't sung yet because she's got quite a set of pipes on her.
Yeah, she'd win it for us if she didn't next year.
Yeah, I think
She'd storm it.
I think she's above this competition.
Yeah. Should we get to the voting?
Yeah, let's
What we're
do
going to
it.
do is we're not going to do it bit by bit because that'll be really boring for everyone. I love the voting. Other people don't love the voting, but we'll chip in if we've got anything to say, like we did for the coronation.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we're halfway through the jury vote, and we thought we'd just things that haven't made us pause so far. The Austrian guy in the equality t-shirt who made a statement about how equal pay for women would be nice. I was like, wow, if you're going to inject a political statement, that's not like a particularly fashionable one, but I thought that was damn cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciated
It was
that.
damn cool. What other crazy, before we get to what's currently on screen, what other things have we skimmed over that have made us go, huh?
Just the fact that Italy's made it into the top 3 because I
don't get it. Can't remember the song.
Yeah.
No idea.
And I mean, it's like I'm very surprised that Israel has been getting a lot of points.
I'm not at all.
I
She
gotta say,
deserves it.
Alfie, you're a few years away for voting for Israel yourself.
If he votes for Israel.
If he votes for Israel, that's right. He might vote for what nation?
I don't think we can say. Okay.
But we have paused because Bane has come on TV for Iceland.
Yeah, you've got
Yes.
you've got this terrifying guy in a army suit.
So to paint you, I don't want to know what army that is.
yeah.
Just to paint you a picture, listeners who, for whatever reason, chose not to watch this, as they're tallying up the points, this is the first half of tallying up the points. So this is the judges in each country who are supposedly
5 music industry
professionals. And you get sort of, with the split screen, you've got Hannah and Graham on one side, and on the right, we've got a representative from whatever country is reporting their votes. And it used to be that they would say what number they gave, and then people just couldn't be bothered.
All the scores, they'd vamp, they'd make these speeches. It's like, you know how like Oscars acceptance speeches, and you get 10 seconds and then you're hooked off.
Yeah, but this was even worse because sometimes people cannot understand English.
Oh, sure.
Like that poor fella who was, I forget what country he was from, but he clearly had no idea what he was saying. And no shade to that. You shouldn't be expected.
I mean, San Marino seemed to have got some English bloke to do it for them, so fair enough.
Yeah, that was maybe a good choice. It also used to be that you would have to say everything in English and in French, which they've done away with, which also saves us some time. Anyway, the representative, the talking head from Iceland, appears to be wearing a hermit crab made of knives on his face. Which is sort of like, I'm not going to lie, it looks like a jock strap from a very specific kind of
a fetish party.
Yeah.
He's got Iron Man's chest battery going on there.
He's in full
Great
armor.
actor.
Amazingly, behind him, look at that, seems to be a giant spiked testicle.
It looks like a sea urchin, except it's a demon.
It's a sea urchin demon the size of a castle. It's the weirdest thing I have ever seen.
And I don't understand why Graham and Hannah are not reacting to this in a bigger way.
Is this just a normal thing?
But there's nothing normal about it. As we've paused, Graham is side-eyeing.
Yeah. Okay, he does look confused. Right.
So hang on, we'll keep our mics live and we'll hit play and see if there's any explanation for this.
Okay. This is so awkward.
He's slowly disrobing his face.
You guys,
He's got a gimp mask on
we are
underneath.
time limited, and he's...
Oh, what?
Estonia.
I thought he'd reveal it to show something nice, but okay, we can pause again. He gave it to Australia, which I did because I liked Australia. But
Yeah, great.
so he takes off the metal hermit crab. Mm-hmm. There's another bondage mask underneath. He takes that off, and underneath that is a gimp mask, which he unzips and says Australia.
Except he doesn't say Australia, he says Australia.
Australia.
I'm never going to Iceland. That is like the tourist board in. If Iceland were traded on the stock exchange, its price would have just
y'all,
plummeted.
Just a reminder, we are time limited. You can't. We were talking about the old days when you could vamp.
Yeah.
For several minutes. Poor Hannah had to give him a nudge.
How did that happen?
That was the weirdest thing I've seen tonight. And I've seen...
And we saw Croatia.
Yeah.
Oh, who's going to go first?
Well,
It's rare that we both draw a breath like that.
we have finished the national jury votes, and should we just do the top 10?
Yeah, but I want to do the bottom first. It's always a sad year for me, I find, when no one gets nil point. I always like it when someone gets nil point, especially and sometimes I feel sad for them. I am disappointed that Germany only got 3 because I really liked Germany.
I thought they did a fantastic job.
And I'm disappointed that Croatia have only got 11 there because I really like Croatia.
Yeah, same.
I'm disappointed that we have more than them. That the United Kingdom has more.
Yeah,
the
but
song was good, the performer was not.
right, but we have a lot less than we are below Albania, Moldova, Slovenia, Portugal, some real mutts.
We're definitely below Sweden because
Some real
Sweden has taken a
duds.
massive lead.
Real duds. Up at the top, though, we have the top 5 of Estonia. Don't remember that. Oh, yeah, no, that's Billie Eilish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Finland, Cha-Cha-Cha, Pennywise in the Bolero. Italy, who is the pretty man with a forgettable song. Israel, which
Unicorn.
was quite good. And Sweden, which is the best song.
And basically doubling Israel.
Yeah, 340 for Israel, 177 for Sweden, 177 for Israel. It is now time, however, to throw in the public votes. Now, once upon a time, it was all combined, right? Now they've sort of split it all out. This is where the real international bias kicks in, right? Because it was really interesting, like Greece didn't give Cyprus 12, right? Because historically they always would. But now we go to the public vote where the old political allegiances really kick in, right? So we're going to see some odd things, and I imagine Germany are going to actually climb there because like Austria and people.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. That's just the sound we make when the pug yawns.
That's wonderful performance from you and me.
Yeah.
Heartfelt congratulations to Loreen of Sweden. As I said previously, she is one of my favorites ever, and Euphoria is probably my favorite song of all the Eurovisions that I've watched, really and truly.
Pretty stonking 2-time winner. Don't get that often. We were a little worried there that she wouldn't win it, but we also would have been very happy with Finland.
Yeah, because they both deserved it, but there's something really wonderful about seeing a woman who is over 30 getting that kind of recognition in her field, and she's just outstanding.
Yeah, she's over 30, but her abs are 17. I think it is a disgrace to be in that kind of shape when you're her age. I want to know who she's murdered and what the painting in her attic looks like. It is ridiculous.
Wow.
Alfie, you're heavy breathing down there.
I am.
I think Alfie is exhausted by the intensity of that reprise performance.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did you enjoy Eurovision, Alf?
Yes. And I think like from the moment they performed, I knew something was going to happen with Sweden and Finland.
Sweden and Finland, those crafty Scandies.
And it's just extraordinary how Finland climbed over 300 points.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
And
love that public vote.
It must hurt for the performer to just be overtaken by that. But
well, I don't think anyone's going to be forgetting them anytime soon. I mean, they were a clear favorite with the audience in the arena.
Yeah.
I just want to say before we go, it is Mother's Day in America today, and I want to dedicate this podcast to all the mothers out there, even Alyssa from Maths, but especially
she is a mum.
She's the only kind of mum, and you'll never understand, 'cause you'll never be a mum.
I do not understand that reference, but...
And to all our mums, all three of our mums.
And particularly Yankee Mima, who is having her first Mother's Day without Pawpaw.
Yeah.
And we love you so much, Mima, and we're so proud of you, and we love you.
And the dogs love their mama. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In classic Blighty Day Fiance style, when we don't know how to close out a show, we do this. Now that is a performance that would win Eurovision for the French any year. We will
See you soon.